You've watched someone forget your name with perfect confidence. You've watched them smile like the mistake is harmless. You've watched the room move on, and you've felt your status drop in real time. You've felt the heat in your face because you know you are not forgettable. You've built your competence quietly. You've solved problems nobody else could solve. You've carried social groups and teams with your brain. Then listen to someone treat you like background noise. You've told yourself, maybe they're just bad with names. You've told yourself, maybe I'm being sensitive. You've told yourself, maybe it's not that deep. And that is exactly why it keeps happening. Because when someone forgets your name, it is rarely a memory problem. It is a dominance probe. It is a microaggression designed to test one thing. Do you have the awareness to detect disrespect and the nerve to punish it without begging for respect? It's not an accident. It's a strategy. Read that again, slowly. Fear implies memory. Fear implies consequence. Fear implies weight. And weight is exactly what they are trying to remove from you when they forget your name. Because in Machiavelli, social dynamics, status is not what you deserve. Status is what your presence forces others to acknowledge. And here is the dark psychology trick nobody told you. Microaggressions are not small. They are micro only in appearance. In function, they are psychological warfare. Tiny cuts meant to train you into accepting erasure. Today, you're going to decode the 5 to 7 signs of disrespect that intelligent people miss precisely because they are intelligent. You're going to learn how to read people without becoming paranoid. You're going to learn manipulation defense without starting fights. You're going to learn emotional detachment as a weapon. And you're going to learn how to become so difficult to diminish that people forgetting you become socially dangerous for them. But do not react yet. Do not correct them like a wounded child. Do not laugh it off like a court jester. Do not explain your value like an employee begging for a performance review. Because in minute 5, I'm going to give you the mirror protocol. The exact silent response that makes disrespect recoil. And the third sign is the most dangerous, because it looks like a compliment. If these ideas resonate with you, hit that subscribe button for more top-tier content. Also, drop a "Remember Me" in the comments, so I know you're ready. Let's dive in. You need to accept the first law, even if it offends the part of you that wants the world to be fair. Most people do not forget what matters to them. They forget what has no consequence. So when someone forgets your name, they are not just failing a social detail. They are editing the social reality of the room. They are attempting to reduce you into a faceless role. Co-worker, friend of a friend, that guy, that girl. You know, them. Erasure is not clumsy. Erasure is clean. It's done with a smile. It's done with plausible deniability. It's done so that if you react emotionally, you become the unstable one. And you, because you're a betrayed intellectual, have been trained to fear one thing more than disrespect, looking irrational. So you swallow it. You make it easy. You reintroduce yourself. You help them save face. You think you're being mature, but you're actually signing a contract. You're telling their nervous system, you can minimize me and I will cooperate. Here's the tactical truth about signs of disrespect. They start as tests, they become habits, then they become culture. First it's your name, then it's your ideas, then it's your time, then it's your boundaries, then it's your identity. And the worst part, you don't even notice when it transitions, because each micro-behavior is small enough to excuse, but consistent enough to program. So ask yourself, why does your body remember the moment they forgot your name? Why does it replay later at night? Why does it sting in a way an innocent mistake never does? Because your emotional intelligence is detecting something your politeness is trying to deny. Their shadow is leaking out. Their hunger for dominance is peeking through the mask. And that's why this video matters. Because the people who win social dominance games aren't always the smartest. They are the ones who understand power dynamics early, before the room decides who is safe to disrespect. Now we go deeper, because forgetting your name is rarely the first move. It's usually part of a pattern. Remember value, not people, unless the person has leverage. This is where dark psychology becomes painfully simple. If they consistently remember the names of people above them, but forget the names of people they see as below them, you're not dealing with a memory issue. You're dealing with a hierarchy mind. They remember the director. They remember the popular one. They remember the one who can punish them. They remember the one who can reward them. But you are treated as optional. This is why being nice fails. Nice is predictable. Nice is low friction. Nice makes others comfortable. And comfort is not respect. Comfort is access. So when someone forgets your name, you don't ask, are they rude? You ask the Machiavellian question, what do they gain if the room sees me as small? Because if you're small, you're interruptible. If you're small, you're stealable. If you're small, your ideas become communal property. If you're small, your effort becomes expected. If you're small, your absence becomes irrelevant. And that is the system. The system needs you to believe that being unthreatening is moral. The system needs you to believe that self-erasure is maturity. The system needs you to believe that asking for basic respect is ego. But the truth is colder. Your freedom begins when you see the lie. This is how fake friends' signs work. They don't attack you directly. They reduce you socially until you start thinking you deserve less. So here's your first internal weapon. Stop for a moment and calculate the energy you waste on being memorable to people who benefit from forgetting you. You have been spending your attention like it's a donation. You have been handing out your warmth like it's a public service. You have been offering your competence to people who do not even offer you basic recognition. That ends here. But there's another layer, because the name forgetting often comes with something else, noise. Third law, dominance through noise. Watch carefully. The person who interrupts you is not always excited. They are often establishing that your voice is optional. Interrupting is a status signal. It says, my thought deserves air. Yours can suffocate. And you, because you are intelligent, often respond the wrong way. You try to be efficient. You let them finish. You don't want to be rude. You wait for a gap. But in Machiavelli's social dynamics, waiting is submission if the other person doesn't grant you the floor. So the interrupt becomes a training mechanism. They interrupt you once, you yield. They interrupt you twice, you adjust. They interrupt you 3 times, you start editing yourself before you even speak. That is the real psychological warfare, not the interruption, the self-censorship it creates, and it connects directly to them forgetting your name. Both are erasure tactics. Both are about controlling what exists in the room. Now here is the cliffhanger you need to hold on to. If you respond to interruption with more explanation, you lose. If you respond to name forgetting with more friendliness, you lose. Because you're trying to buy respect with effort. Respect is not purchased. Respect is enforced. But I'm not telling you to become loud. Loud is for the insecure. Loud is for the performer. Loud is for the person begging to be seen. You are going to become something more dangerous. Opaque. And that starts with understanding the most poisonous micro-behavior of all. The one that looks like kindness. Fourth law, the backhanded praise. This is the compliment that contains a leash. This is the smile with teeth. This is the I'm proud of you that actually means know your place. You've heard it. You're actually smarter than I thought. You're so articulate. You did great for someone new. I love how you don't care about status. You're so humble. Translation. They are framing your value as surprising. They are positioning themselves as the evaluator. They are placing you under their narrative. And here is why this one is the most dangerous. It recruits your ego. It tempts you to accept the insult, to receive the sugar. So you smile, you take it. You think you're being gracious, but what you just did is agree to their frame. And frames are everything, because if they can frame you as surprisingly competent, they can later frame you as not as competent as we assumed. If they can frame you as humble, they can later shame you for asserting yourself. If they can frame you as not caring about status, they can keep you at the bottom while you call it enlightenment. This is how dealing with narcissists often works in social groups and workplaces. They don't just want to win, they want you to participate in your own lowering. Now the question, the uncomfortable question, the question that reveals whether you're still programmable. When you receive a backhanded compliment, do you feel a tiny rush? Do you feel relief? Do you feel chosen? If you do, it means they found your lever. It means they found the part of you that still begs to be recognized by people who don't respect you. Good. Now you can weaponize that awareness, because the goal is not to become mean. The goal is to become unhookable. And that brings us to the principle that turns all these microaggressions into dust. This is the rule you came for. This is the response that makes forgetting your name expensive. This is how you destroy their ego without saying a word. The mirror protocol is simple. You reflect their indifference instantly, without anger, without explanation, without negotiation. Because indifference is a language, and when you speak it back fluently, you change the power dynamics. Here's what you do when someone forgets your name. You do not correct them quickly. You do not rescue them. You do not soften the moment. You pause. A clean, calm pause. 2 seconds, maybe 3. You look at them like you're reading them, not with hatred, with evaluation. Then you give them the smallest possible correction. Flat tone, no smile. It's your name. And you move on. No warmth, no extra information, no, ha, it's okay. No apology for existing. Why does this work? Because you're doing 3 things at once. 1, you force them to feel the social weight of the moment. 2, you deny them the reward of your emotional labor. 3, you communicate that your identity is not optional. If they do it again later, you escalate not with volume, but with distance. You stop volunteering information. You stop offering help preemptively. You stop trying to win them over. You become harder to access. And here's the part your old self resists. You let them feel the loss. Because manipulators, status climbers, and social parasites do not learn through logic, they learn through consequence. Now apply the mirror protocol to interruption. When they interrupt you, you do not fight for the floor with noise. You do not speed up. You do not compete. You stop speaking, mid-sentence if you have to. You look at them. You let them finish. And then, this is key, you do not pick up where you left off. You restart. From the beginning of your point, slowly, with certainty, because you are communicating. You don't control my pace. You don't edit my existence. You don't rush my value. This is psychological warfare, but it's clean. It's emotional detachment. It's manipulation defense. It's how to read people in real time and respond with status, not emotion. And now the most brutal part. The mirror protocol is not just a technique. It is an identity shift. You stop being the person who fears discomfort. You become the person who creates it strategically when someone crosses a line. But there is an even higher level, because you can do more than mirror. You can withdraw. And withdrawal is where the true power lives. 6th law, the vacuum of presence. Most nice people think presence is something you give freely. You show up, you contribute, you stay engaged, you smile, you try. But presence is a resource. Your attention is a strategic asset, and once you treat it that way, everything changes. The vacuum of presence means this: when they disrespect you, you remove your gravity, not dramatically, not emotionally, not with an announcement. You just stop feeding the dynamic. You stop being available for casual access. You stop being the audience to their performance. You stop being the reliable emotional supply. And here is what happens in the room when you do this. People feel it, even if they can't name it. Your silence becomes a signal. Your distance becomes a question. Your lack of reaction becomes a threat. Because the room is used to you being stable. The room is used to you being generous. The room is used to you absorbing disrespect quietly. When you withdraw, you break the script. And script breaking is what creates social dominance without aggression. It creates curiosity. It creates caution. It creates, yes, fear. Not fear of violence, fear of consequence, fear of losing access, fear of miscalculating you. This is why it's not an accident, it's not just a thumbnail line, it's a worldview. Because once you see microaggressions as tests, you stop trying to interpret them with innocence. You interpret them with strategy. Now let's lock in the full system as 7 laws so you can apply it anywhere. Law 1. If they forget your name, you treat it as a probe, not a mistake. Law 2. You watch selective memory as a hierarchy reveal. Law 3. You identify the interrupt as dominance through noise. Law 4. You decode backhanded praise as an insult wrapped in sugar. Law 5. You apply the mirror protocol, calm correction, immediate indifference. Law 6. You use the vacuum of presence, withdraw attention as punishment. Law 7. You turn emotional intelligence into psychological warfare, observe without engagement, and now you're ready for the final shift. Because the point is not to win one interaction. The point is to become someone who cannot be minimized. Someone who triggers a different calculation in other people's minds. Someone who makes disrespect feel like a bad investment. You're not seeking love from the room. You're building leverage inside yourself. You're becoming an observer, not a participant, a sovereign mind, a silent strategist. You were taught that being agreeable makes you safe, but Machiavelli knew that being safe often makes you disposable. So here is the initiation. From now on, when someone forgets your name, you do not panic, you do not perform, you do not over-explain. You detect, you detach, you respond with precision, you withdraw your warmth, you let the vacuum teach them, and you watch what happens next. Because the moment you master weaponized detachment, you will notice something that feels almost supernatural. The same people who treated you like background noise will suddenly speak your name clearly. The same people who interrupted you will suddenly wait. The same people who gave you sugar insults will suddenly choose neutral respect, not because they became better people, because you became a different problem. So drop "remember me" in the comments if you're done being edited out of rooms you helped build. Subscribe if you're ready to stop being emotionally available to people who treat you like an option. And whatever you do, don't stop now. The on-screen video matters more than you think. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'll see you there. See what others miss. Know what others fear. Become who others can't.